listen, friend. The railroad's gonna come right smack through your land, and there ain't a thing in the world that you can do to stop it.
But, mister, $1 an acre. Why, I paid $15 acre for it. And then there's my home and the barn and the crop.
Well, take it or leave it, friend. But if you won't sell, all we gotta do is call in the government. They'll confiscate your land, and then you won't get nothing. But that's the way you want it.
What'll I do?
I don't know.
Mister! Mister!
Here he comes.
Mister!
Well?
I reckon if that's the way they're gonna do it.
Now you're talking sense. Can you write?
No, sir.
Here. Put your mark right there.
I'm telling you like a friend, lady, if you won't sell, the government will take it from you. Now you can save yourself a lot of trouble by just signing now.
It's so little, $2 an acre. But if that's the way it is.
Don't sign it, Ma. Please don't. Let's see a lawyer first.
Oh, now you're
please.
wasting your time, son.
Oh, let's
Right
see
here,
one
man.
anyway, Ma. We can go to town this evening and see Judge Harvey. He'll tell you what to do. Wait till you see him,
what's the
please.
use? Right
Well,
here,
Oh,
man.
please,
Here's
Ma,
where you
I
please.
suppose it can't hurt to talk to somebody first. You don't mind waiting till tomorrow, do you?
Well, it won't do you any good, but whatever you say, ma'am. No hard feelings, son.
Why, no, sir.
Trying to hold us up, huh? Trying to jack up the price, are you?
No, please. Leave him alone. Don't hurt him. I'll sign. I will right now.
Don't sign it, Ma.
I will.
My arm. Please let go.
Right there, ma'am.
Ma.
Howdy, bud.
Sir?
I just said howdy.
Oh, howdy.
What's your name?
James. Jesse James.
You own this farm?
No, but Mama does.
Where is she?
At the house.
Thanks, bud. Morning, ma'am. Are you the lady that owns this farm?
Yes, I am.
Well, my name's Barshee. I'm with the railroad now. We're coming through this way, you know.
Yes, I heard so.
I want to get this deed signed up. Now, if you'll just put your name right there.
For nothing?
No. We're paying $1 an acre, just like to everybody else. That's the law. Everybody's getting the same thing, $1 an acre.
Seems mighty little, don't it?
I can't help that, lady, but that's all you're going to get. So you might as well sign up now as later.
You mean right this minute?
Now, look, lady, we ain't got all day to hang around here. Now, you either take what I'm offering everybody else, or you'll get nothing. We get your land just the same.
Oh, but I wouldn't dream of signing a thing like that till I talk to some lawyer about it.
Are you going to waste my time with some jackleg lawyer? Your land ain't any different than anybody else's.
Well, no, there's no use talking. I'm not going to sign that thing right now.
Now, look, lady, I don't want to have any trouble with you.
Didn't you hear her say no? Said she wasn't going to sign.
Who are you?
That's my son, Frank.
Oh. Well, if you're so smart, how'd you like for the government to come along, condemn this land, and take it for nothing?
You like it?
And you better understand that I'm doing you folks a favor when I offer you $1 an acre.
There weren't no favors.
Well, maybe you'd like to go to court about it.
Might at that.
Well, you folks have it your own way. All right, son. No hard feelings.
Frank!
Kind of tricky, ain't you?
Yeah. Get him, boys.
Oh, Frank! Frank!
I just scared.
You ain't gonna all jump on him, are you? Back against the wall, you fellas. Keep your hands out of your pockets. You want to fight him, Frank?
Oh, please, Frank, don't.
Just keep them others from running up my back.
Well, they ain't gonna do anything. Are you fellas?
Jesse, stop him. Stop him.
Sorry, Ma. He started it.
Oh, please, Jesse, don't let him. Oh, Frank. Oh, Jesse, stop him. Stop him. He's going to get hurt.
Looks to me like he's got enough.
Who's next?
Think you can lick them all, Frank?
I'll fight him or arrest them if they'll come at me one at a time and pile them up under the tree.
You'll do nothing of the kind. Now, you men, get away from here. Do you hear me?
Well, if he ain't the tricky one.
Now get off this land. All of you. Move along. And jump!
But we're still gonna get this land just the same.
Jesse! All right, son.
What happened?
Well, I don't know. It went black and I got
Come on in the
dizzy.
house.
What's happened, Ma?
She fainted.
No, I didn't. I just gotta lay down.
You better get Doc Hall.
Pinkie! Pinkie!
Yes, sir.
Get on your mule and go after Doc Hall. Tell him to hurry.
Yes, sir.
And Pinkie.
Yes, sir.
After you get him started, get to all the farmers this side of Liberty. Mr. Crump, Mr. Clayton, Mr. Thompson, all of them. Tell them we're going to have a meeting, an important meeting here tonight. Tell them to come as soon as they knock off work without fail.
Yes, sir.
And furthermore, if the St. Louis Midland don't know the way its agents are swindling the farmers, it's high time they found out. Come on. Because it's the gall-dangedest, dad-blastedest, consanguinest outrage ever perpetrated on a law-abiding citizenry in the whole history of the world. Paragraph. Uh-oh.
Trouble by gravy.
Uncle Rube,
Huh?
you want me to take those cuss words out, don't you?
Oh, I guess so.
You mean you want to swear out warrants for their arrest?
I'm charging both Frank and Jesse James with assault with attempt to murder.
Glad they didn't finish it.
Jesse?
Yes, while my back was turned.
Nice shooting.
If you'll swear in me and my men as deputies, we won't bother you anymore. We'll bring in these buckaroos ourselves. Tonight.
It's Jesse. He's in trouble.
No. What did he do? Uncle Rube!
You know them cuss words I told you to take out? Put them back in.
Uncle Rube! Uncle Rube!
What we got to do is chip in some money, whatever we can afford, and send down to St. Louis for a lawyer. We bought our land, built our homes, and raised our crops. And if we have to give them up, we got a right to a fair price for them.
You're right. Somebody done something.
We don't want any trouble, Jesse.
Well, not unless they start it, Ma. What we need is somebody that knows the law, to tell us our rights and how to protect them.
Jesse's right. We need a lawyer.
Jesse! Frank! Jesse, Frank! You boys got to get out of here. They already got a warrant for you, and they're headed here now. So you got to skip out both here. I told Pinkie to get your horses ready.
Ain't nobody going to arrest me.
I ain't gonna run.
Now, listen,
neither.
Jesse.
Oh, listen to the Major, Frank.
Don't you understand? You ain't got a chance. The St. Louis Midlands got this whole state hog-tied. They got the police, they got the courts, they got everything. A trial right now would be a joke. The railroad's got too much at stake to let two little farmer boys like you and Frank bollock things up.
We got a right to defend ourselves. Well, sure, Ma, but...
Yes, they do. What the major says, he's right.
All you gotta do is hide out like and get the governor or somebody to give you a fair trial, that's all.
But if we run away, then...
Jesse, please go like the major says. If you don't, it'll mean trouble. I know it will. I couldn't stand it. I'm not well enough.
Master Frank.
Please go.
The horse is ready at the back gate.
All right, Ma, if it'll make you feel any better.
Oh, be awful careful, son.
Well, don't worry, Ma.
Take care of him, Frank.
Yes, Ma.
Bye, Jesse. Bye, Frank. Goodbye, Ma.
Major, Pinkie will know where we are.
Pinkie.
Yes, I knows where it is. Be careful, boys. Be careful.
Now, ladies, you all go down the road a piece and wait. There's apt to be a fracas here. Just let us men handle it. Go on, step along now. Just get right down there. Now, men, listen to me. Let me do all the talking.
Yes, Major.
Here they come. Good evening, gentlemen.
Where's the James boys?
We got a warrant for them, Major.
They ain't here. They're gone. And if you want to know who got them away, it was me.
Easy, Major. Shut on, Major. Shut
Out of the way. Just a minute, Mr. Marshy. You have my word for it. The boys are gone.
Your word. Come out, Frank and Jesse James. Come out or we'll come in and pull you out.
Their mother's bad, sick in bed, and her heart won't stand you mules stomping through the house.
Are you gonna let this old goat make a fool out of you?
He says they ain't there.
I ain't.
Well, I got a way to find that out. Lynch, bring me that mushmelon.
Major!
The Major's telling the truth.
If you ain't out of there in 1 minute with your hands up, I'm gonna blow you out.
You think I'm lying?
Major! They can come in. Let 'em.
Look, there's somebody in there. What did I tell you?
The mother! There's no use. She's dead. This is bad. Mighty bad. I'm sure sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, too.
Oh, I wasn't talking about her. She's gone. It's you I'm sorry for.
Z.
Frank!
Frank!
Yeah?
It's Z!
Z!
I couldn't hardly believe my eyes.
Frank,
How you, Z?
I've worried so about you all.
About us?
How's everybody? How's everything at home? How's Ma?
Jesse,
Ma? What happened?
Bashi.
You mean she's dead?
Oh, Jesse.
Well, let's go.
Bye, honey.
Oh, Jesse, don't you go.
I've got to.
Oh, no, Jesse, please.
Can't help it, Z. I just got to.
Let Frank.
Sorry, honey.
Frank, make him.
Take care of her.
What about me?
I'm the one he did it to because I shot him.
Well, go ahead. If you don't get him, I will.
Might be a long time before I see you again, Z.
I can wait.
Bye, honey.
Bye, Jesse.
Just keep anybody from bothering me, that's all.
That speaks for itself, but that other needed a lot of booster.
Keep your hands in sight. Bartender, count 3 and duck.
Yes, sir.
Now, wait a minute, Jesse. It was an accident. I swear it was.
Count.
No, I can explain it. I didn't know she was there. I swear it.
Keep your hands in sight. 1.
No, Jesse!
2.
tell you to stop.
What are you aiming to do, partner?
I ain't aiming to do nothing. I'm doing it. I'm holding up this train.
The whole train?
Slack up at this next curve. Stop her just this side of that clump of trees around the bend.
It's your funeral, partner.
If you don't know what this is, folks, it's a holdup. Stay in your seats. Keep your hands in sight. And the general just throwed his pocketbook in the spittoon. We'll kindly take it out and wipe it clean before we get to him.
No jewelry, folks, just cash.
That's every cent I've got in the world.
Just teach you not to ride on the St. Louis Midland Railroad. Thank you, sir. No, ma'am, no jewelry. Thank you just the same, though. That's very nice of you, sir. It's a fine-looking pocketbook. Thank you very much, lady. And don't forget to sue the railroad for everything you give us, because it's responsible. Thank you very kindly, sir.
Just drop it in the sack and nobody will get hurt. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Have your wallets ready by the time the gentleman gets to you.
Thank you, brother. Don't take all day. Thank you, brother. Sit down. Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly.
You'll hear about this.
No back talk. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Everybody sit quiet and nobody will get hurt. All right, let's go. Lights out.
And says, brother, we want that mail safe.
Where was the protection we're entitled to? Where was the law?
Just a minute, Cap. I'm just the law and liberty. I don't cover the whole United States. Now, if you want to give me a description of these men...
You know as well as I do who it was. Jesse James. Who else picks on my road? Who else would have the nerve?
Sure it was, but you don't have to yell about it. I'm not deaf.
What's that? Look! It's him! Well, you crazy son of a gun.
How are you, Major?
Oh, Jesse, you're just asking to be caught. Don't you know they're looking all over the county for you?
Sure. How about a cup of coffee?
Yeah, the marshal's got 30 men out looking for you, son.
And all this rain, too. Poor boys.
It's no joke, Jesse.
Oh, it's all right, honey. I ain't gonna stay long. And the way I figure it out is as long as they keep running around out there, in here's the safest place for me.
Go on, sit down, leave the man alone.
But he's taking chances. If I could just think of some way to let you know how wrong you are.
It's no use, honey. It's just like I always told you. I hate the railroads. And when I hate, I've got to do something about it.
That's the stuff. People ain't hating nowadays like they used to. They're getting soft. I got to admit that I like a man that hauls off and hates good and hard. It's the lawyers, God dang it, it's the lawyers are messing up the whole world. But 10 years ago here in Liberty, we didn't have no lawyers, and we got along fine. Man killed somebody, and then somebody killed him, and the marshal shot them all, and that was the end of it. But look at it today. Right here in Liberty, we got hundreds of lawyers, thousands of them. As far as the eye can see, nothing but lawyers.
Uncle Ruth, there are only 2 lawyers in Liberty.
Huh? 2? Is that all? Then they run around too much. God dang it, I'm gonna write me an editorial about that. Roy!
Yes, sir?
Take an editorial on lawyers.
Liars?
Now, that'll do. We'll begin easy. Paragraph. If we are ever to have law and order in the West, the first thing we gotta do is take out all the lawyers and shoot them down like dogs. Paragraph.
They're bound to get you someday, Jesse. That's why I hate to see you go out that door. Because I keep thinking of you all the time out there in the hills. Just going on and on to nowhere. Just trying to keep alive. And everybody after you wanting to kill you to get that money. And Jesse, sometimes at night when it's cold and raining, I wake up crying. Because in a dream I saw you lying dead in the mud. Oh, Jesse, I'm so scared.
You're the only one that it matters to, Z, one way or the other. You're the only one that means anything to me. I know it was a fool thing to come here, but I never knew how much I did want to see you until I saw you.
You stand blameless outrage. Never.
Hi, Horace Greeley.
Oh, hello, Will. I thought you was,
Is, Z inside?
Well, she's,
Evening, Z.
Evening, Will. I thought you went out with the posse.
I did. I just got back.
You catch him?
This is Mr. Howard, Will. Mr. Thomas Howard, an old friend of ours. This is the United States Marshal, Mr. Wright.
How do you do, Mr. Howard? How do you do?
Mr. Howard's from St. Louis.
Yes? Well, I used to live in St. Louis. What business you in, Mr. Howard?
Guns. Guns and horses.
Guns and horses, eh? No, we didn't catch him. You couldn't find a white elephant on a night like this. See, you used to know Jesse James, you ever tell you? They kind of grew up together. Funny thing about it, she's told me so much I almost feel knowing myself.
You do?
Good biscuits you make 'em, Z?
Uh-huh.
Try one, Mr. Howard. I don't mean that there ain't after me, you understand? I'm still a peace officer if we ever come on each other in the right place. It's just going to be me or him, one or the other.
So I understand.
What I'm hoping is either he'll stop messing around my district or else keep out of my way. Because it'll save Z some hurt. Either way.
You know your job, I guess.
I know it and I'm good at it. I'm just as good at my job as he is at his. That's why I'm saying the next time either I'm going to blow his head off or he's going to blow mine. I got a little business up the road a piece, taking about an hour. Maybe I'll drop in again later if your light's on.
All right, Will.
Good night, Horace Greeley.
Huh? Oh, good night, Will.
I don't expect I'll be seeing you again.
No, I don't expect so.
Take care of yourself. You've got a better grade of law around here than it used to be.
Don't waste time, Jesse. Go now.
I think I better go that way. Will you blow out the light? I don't want to be a target.
Yes.
Is that why you won't hire me?
I can't help it, Will.
Well, let's load him on a horse and take him to town.
Hey, one of you fellas come here and give me a hand. I'll get back out of the way, you young'uns. This ain't no place for you. Get over on the other side.
Is that...
No, ma'am. We didn't get the jackpot this time.
They keep on running up that price, and one of Jesse's own men's liable to take a shot at him.
Yeah, some of them fellas that scalped their own mall for a lot less than $5,000. Now let him down on this side.
Are you really as pretty as I think you are?
Oh, Jesse, read this. Read it. Will arranged it. I asked him to.
I can't do that, Z.
Why not?
I trust Will, but...
He's given his word. He's promised. He'll see that it works out all right. But Jesse, listen. It isn't only now, although that's bad enough. It's what's going to happen to you, inside of you. You understand? I mean, right now you're a hero to yourself and a lot of other people, too. It's a fight you're in, and it's the railroad that started it. But that's not going to last, Jesse. The more luck you have, the worse you'll get. Shooting and robbing, it'll get in your blood, Jesse. You'll get like a wolf. Just doing it because it's your nature. That'll be your appetite for shooting and robbing. Until something happens to you. And if anything ever happened to you, Jesse, it'd be like it was happening to me, too. Oh, darling, there's only one way out. Come in. Give up. Let me draw a free breath again.
I can't see. I'd go crazy in prison. I couldn't do it. But if we went away now...
That's all there is to it, Jesse. Bye.
But see, please.
Good luck.
Z, you said you'd wait.
However long it took.
Well, would you marry me now, before?
Today, if you want me to.
And that's the way, I guess.
The only way.
And then the prodigal son come home to his ma and pa. Welcome, brothers and sister.
Thank you, sir.
Sit down. Just find a seat anywhere.
Could we get hitched?
Huh?
Married.
You ain't eloping, are you?
How's that?
Oh, no, sir. I'm grown.
And we're in a kind of hurry, if you don't mind.
Oh, your brothers?
I have no brothers.
Sorry. What's your name, sister?
Zerelda Cobb.
And your son?
Jesse Woodson James.
Jesse Wood. Jesse James! Thank the Lord. Sit down.
Yes, sir, and we don't want no trouble.
Trouble? Why, son, you're as welcome as rain to the flowers. Do you realize, boy, that I had a farm giving 900 bushels of corn until that railroad had taken it from me? Why, I'd given up preaching and was making an honest living off the land until that dag-swing railroad swindled me out of my own home.
That's true, Mr. James.
By golly, son, do you know I had a big house, 2 barns, 3 outhouses, until that gall-danged railroad unswoggled me.
Amen. Amen.
All right. We're gathered here to join Zerelda Cobb and Jesse Woodson James in the bonds of holy matrimony.
Howdy, Jesse. Howdy, Will. I guess Z explained things. She said they're willing to go light. From the way they talk, they're so glad to get rid of you, they're liable to make you a conductor on the road.
What do you think I'll get?
2, 3 years, maybe 5. It won't be much. All they're charging you with is that little old depot at Pine Hills that you knocked over last April. That one they got proof on.
Much obliged for all you've done.
Don't mention it. Shall we go?
Jesse. Howdy. Judge.
Jesse.
Major. You ain't got no more guns on you, have you?
No.
All right.
You're doing the wise thing, son.
Am I?
Well, Judge Matthews here is going to try your case, son. You can trust him all right.
I'm aiming to go as light as the law allows. And when you come out, the slate will be clean. The past will all be forgotten.
Thank you, Judge. Well, Jesse, if you're ready.
All right, Jesse. You ain't worried, are you, kid?
I can do it on my head. Good boy. No, my darling. My wife.
My husband. Oh, I'm proud of you, dear. Proud of you.
Bye, Z. Bye.
I'll be waiting.
Yes, sir. You can go right in.
Mr. James?
Oh.
I'm Mr. McCoy, president of the railroad.
Oh, yes, I know who you are, Mr. McCoy.
I just want to welcome you and tell you how glad I am to see you here in jail. From this point...
What's all this soldier business?
Oh, this is Mr. Wright, the peace officer here. Mr. Clark, the state prosecutor.
How do you do? Well?
Well, we're going to try to hang our lawless friend, of course.
Before or after the trial?
Well, the penalty for murder is death, isn't it?
That wasn't the idea.
The idea?
That wasn't the idea. You gave me a James of the girl. What became of that?
Now, get this straight, Wright. When you're dealing with a criminal, anything goes. Anything that'll trap him. James is a thief and a murderer. The most notorious bandit and outlaw in America. He has burned my property, robbed my trains, and scared people out of riding in my cars. 3 years ago, I swore he'd hang for what he'd done, and by the Almighty, he is going to hang.
That still ain't the way things are done around here.
Just a minute. You're a peace officer, aren't you?
But not a skunk. You explain all this to Judge Matthews?
It won't be necessary, my boy. He's been superseded by Judge Rankin of St. Louis, who's not so sentimental about train robbers. He arrives tonight. The trial's tomorrow morning. Anything else?
A nice frame, eh?
And while we're about it, Marshal, it might be better for you if you drop this role of attorney for the defense and confined yourself to the duties of your office.
Who, me?
Any interference on your part...
It ain't me you gotta worry about.
What do you mean?
Suppose Jesse don't want to be hanged.
Roy, stop the press. Take a new editorial on railroad presidents.
Yes, sir.
Paragraph. If we are ever to have law and order in the West, the first thing we got to do is take out all the railroad presidents and shoot them down like dogs. Paragraph.
Where's he?
Where you been?
Up to Pine Ridge, they sent me. Where's he?
See?
Yes.
She's out.
Out where?
Well, she set out at... I wouldn't want this to go any further, you understand?
I understand.
Well, she set out for the hills.
Alone?
Not exactly alone. She was being guided by a darky named Pinkie on a mule named Stinky.
I see.
Halt! Who goes there? It's me, Pinkie. All right, Pinkie, what do you want? I've got a letter here from Mr. McCoy. Give me. A letter from Mr. McCoy. Is you sure he'll get it, sir? He'll get it. Yes, sir.
For Mr. McCoy.
Mr. McCoy? For Mr. McCoy.
We want the trial to get started as early as possible. Judge, read that.
Listen. Mr. McCoy, if Jesse ain't out of jail by midnight, I'm a-coming in and get him. Frank James.
Well, that gives us an hour and a half.
But the nerve of him.
Oh.
What ails you?
It's this note.
What about it?
I don't know if you gents know it or not, but, well, both these James boys does things.
What are you driving at?
I've known Frank James a long time. And when he says he aims to do something, he's liable to come pudding near doing it.
Now, what on earth do you think he can do?
He says he's going to take Jesse out of here.
I wish he'd try it. We'd grab him, too.
Of course we would. You're crazy.
He's a mighty set man, Frank is.
Oh. Have you heard about this ridiculous note?
The word got around.
You mean everybody knows about it?
Everybody I met. And they all regard it as a very interesting situation.
Interesting? Why, it's preposterous. What do they think a few ragged pants bandits can do? Don't they know this is a brick jail surrounded and guarded by United States soldiers? Don't they know we could hold this jail against an army of outlaws?
They do. That's what makes it so interesting. But they know, too, that both the James boys are mighty set in their ways. Mighty set.
That's what I told him. Didn't I tell you to shut up? How many deputies have you got?
6 on call, but I could swear in as many more as you want.
That's it. That's what we'll do. We won't wait for the rascal. We'll go out and get him.
Well, we could try.
You think he'll really come? Well, don't you?
Oh, sure. He wouldn't fool around about a thing like this. He's probably on his way now.
Well, let's not waste time. Swear in some good men surround the town. Tell them to take him dead or alive. Tell them to shoot first and ask questions later. Tell them...
Am I telling you how to run your railroad?
What do you mean?
Then don't try to tell me how to take a man.
Just a minute, Marshal. Where are you going?
Going to swear in some good men.
Wait, I'll go with you. I'm not a bad hand at picking men myself.
Whatever you say, Cap, is exactly what I'm going to do.
Turn out all your men. Cover the whole town. It's an utterly ridiculous situation. But by cracky, I'm not going to take any chances.
Mighty, mighty set.
$5, 1 to 3 he will. $10 he won't. $12 even money either way. I've got $10, 1 to 5, that Frank James will bite Mr. McCoy in the leg.
Gentlemen, I want some deputies, some volunteer deputies who've got to be able to shoot straight the first time, or else.
For Frank?
For whoever I say. But if anybody here's got a mercenary streak, I might add that Mr. McCoy here is talking about doubling the pot for whoever rings the bell.
$10,000?
All right, boys, line up the bars so we can get a look at you.
I'm your deputy.
You and you. Ed, you all right? Bill, get over there. You, and you, and you, and you. Charlie, you're a good man with a gun.
I don't like it. What's the matter with the big fellow then?
Well, nothing that I know of.
And him.
All right. And you?
And these two.
All right, you're the doctor. All right, men, face me, raise your right hands, and take the oath. Up a little higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Wild goose chase.
I don't care how many he brings. He won't be able to get to town, much less this building.
Oh, the whole thing's a bluff.
Well, it's 12 o'clock. Nothing's happened.
You? I couldn't help it. I'm just nervous, that's all. Frank said he was going to give it to 12 to let Jesse out. And if he wasn't out by then... That's Jesse.
Well, stop him.
I'll stop him, but it won't do no good. It's dead certain Frank's coming now. And Jesse feels it. That's the way them boys is.
No matter what happens tonight, fire or flood, I'm going to have that man fired tomorrow.
Major, see? They got him.
Frank?
Yeah, they jumped him in the woods.
Who got him?
2 of them deputies.
How of them gall dang that blasted gall burned deputies, right?
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank the young man for simplifying one of our worst problems. Take him in there.
Sure am sorry, Frank. Any guns on you?
I got it.
I sure wasn't looking for this. Come on, son.
Frank. Sorry.
It's all right, Marshal.
You understand, this ain't any of my doing. I just want you and Jesse to know that all the honor and credit for this victory of law and order goes to Mr. McCoy.
We understand.
Is that all, Marshal?
That's all, thank you.
Then get out of here. Get out and stay out. For a peace officer, your attitude has been incredible, and make no doubt it'll be reported to the governor tomorrow.
You mean you won't want me anymore tonight?
Neither tonight or any other day or night.
Is that official?
It is.
Sorry, Will, we didn't aim to get you over a barrel.
Forget it, son. The way I figure, that barrel's gonna be mighty crowded before this night's over. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Marshal.
Pretty smart, aren't
You ought not to have done this, Mr. McCoy.
you? No?
You ought not to try to trick Jesse and me when we were trusting you. You ought to kept your word.
Oh, the way you're going to keep yours?
Sir?
Well, you said you were going to take Jesse out of here.
But I am. Hey, Jesse?
That you, Frank?
It's me. You all right?
You're a cool one.
Getting along just fine, Frank.
He'll be glad to see you, too.
Lock the door, Tom.
Soldiers! Take it easy, boys.
Now untie me. No noise, understand? We don't aim to kill a soul if we can help it, but the first man that hollers, all you gotta do is to keep your hands up and your mouth shut. Everything's gonna be all right.
You'll never get away with this in a war.
I knowed it, and I told you.
Lay down.
Lay down and be shot down.
What happened? Mr. McCoy was kind enough to deputize Tom and Hank.
On purpose?
I guess he just didn't have any better sense.
What is this, a game? Grown men playing on the floor like children.
Ain't it the truth?
They wouldn't have it any other way.
Remember that? Remember it?
Don't kill me.
I ain't. Not with a gun.
And brother, I'm going to worry you to death.
Not chew. See how it tastes. And swallow. Chew!
You look like a man that's got good sense.
Just name it, friend, and I'll do it.
You'll do it if you don't want your pants full of lead.
All you gotta do is name it.
Give him a glass of water as soon as we're gone to wash it down.
Everybody set? All you gotta do is to throw that door open when I say the word and then step back.
You don't have to tell me to step back.
Don't hurt nobody, you know. Come on, don't forget to throw a few rounds down the street just for the fun of it. Ready? Open it.
Goodbye, honey. I don't blame you. Jesse played fair. He did everything he promised. So you gotta keep your part of the bargain. And stick to him, honey. Because you're the only hope there is for him.
I'll stick, all right.
Miss C, is we got everything?
Oh, I think so, Pinkie.
Yes.
Goodbye, Uncle Rufus.
Goodbye, honey.
Let's go.
Play Pony Express.
busy there for a while.
Darling.
See?
Oh, darling. Darling.
Just let me look at you.
You like the curtains?
Well, they're just as pretty as they can be.
I made them.
Oh, my goodness, Z, I never expected ever to have a house as nice as this one.
I made that, too.
God bless our home. I say, that's better than you can get in a store, Z. That's a mighty pretty frame, too.
Oh, Pinkie made that.
Huh? Good work, Pinkie.
Thank you, Mr. Jesse.
Oh, it sure is fine, Z. The whole place. I'm just as proud of you as I can be. Eat it. Hello? Hello? Evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I'm looking for the Wilsons. Do you know where they live?
About a mile on up the road.
Thank you, ma'am. Here. Pack.
Yes, sir.
Jesse.
Pack, we're getting out of here.
But it was only a farmer.
How do you know?
How is she, Doc? She's weak, of course, which is only... You're a friend of Mr. Howard's, aren't you?
You might say so.
You any idea where he is?
He travels a lot.
Salesman?
Something like that.
Well, you can tell him for me. Any husband who would stay away from a wife at a time like this, I can't say I've got any use for him.
There's a lot in what you say.
You can go up, but don't stay long.
Ain't he the darn blamedest, cutest little cuss that ever... Now, honey, you mustn't blame Jesse for not getting here. Maybe he just couldn't get away.
It doesn't matter.
Honey, you shouldn't feel that way about it.
I can't help it. I'm too tired to care. This is the way it always is. We live like animals. Scared animals. We move. We hide. We don't dare go out. All day and all night we just sit. Scared of a shadow on a window. Scared of a footstep on a porch. Scared of a door opening. And when he's away, it's worse. think of is he dead? Is he lying dead in the mud in the woods? Maybe he's dead now. Oh, Uncle Ruf, I want to go home.
You're home, Z. This is your home. Yours and Jesse's.
I mean home with you. Back to Liberty. Will you take me?
But, honey, doggone it, But Jesse promised.
Yes, I know. And I used to believe him. But he'd never change. Jesse will be an outlaw as long as he lives. I know it now. He's wild, Will. He's like a horse you can't break. He's crazy with wildness, and there's nothing either you or me or him or anybody else can do about it. That's why all last night I wanted to die. I prayed and prayed that I'd die. And my baby, I prayed that he'd die too and end it all. My darling. Mommy didn't mean that, honey. Oh, my precious baby, Mommy didn't mean that, honey.
That's all right, honey. I'll take you home.
Hi, Pinkie.
See? Oh, Mr. Jesse.
Yes?
She's gone.
Gone? Gone where?
And the baby.
The baby?
Yes, sir.
Were they all right?
Yes, sir. They're all right, both of them. But she's gone now. The major come and took them away back to Liberty. This here's a letter she gave me to give to you, sir.
Poor kid. I tried to get here, Pinkie, but I just couldn't. They got after me and... Did you see him?
Mr. Jesse is the cutest little old thing I ever did see. Jesse yelling and hollering so it nearly bust your ears. I bet he's the loudest yelling baby that ever was born.
What color eyes he got, Pinkie?
Blue. Red, big old blue eyes, big as a saucer, looking right at you.
Does he look like Z?
Like you.
No.
He's a spitting image of you, Mr. Jesse.
Well, I'll be doggone.
Except he's bald. He's bald as a peeled egg. But my goodness, Mr. Jesse, that sure is one cute little old baby.
Well, I'll be doggone.
Just yell and wave his little old arm.
Doggone.
Yes, sir, we're all mighty proud of that baby.
Lord. Well, I guess we better go after him, Pinkie. When did they leave?
They left Monday.
On the train?
No, sir, in the Major's buggy.
Oh. I don't like that. Well, we'll have some supper and then we'll go after him.
But, Mr. Jesse.
Yes?
I don't know if I'd go after him right now.
No, why not?
They got that Mr. Wright with them.
Wright?
Yes, sir, the police marshal. He come too.
I see. Never mind the supper, Pinkie. We'll start right now.
You mean after him?
Yes, right now.
did she say about being unhappy?
It's just like I told you, Mr. Jesse. She says she's scared all the time, and I know she cried a lot. She says she don't know how she could stand it.
I see. I guess I can't blame her.
That's just what she says.
I guess it was pretty bad for her.
Yes, sir, I guess it was.
Pinkie, I'm not going any further.
You mean you ain't going after him?
I've changed my mind. She's right. There ain't no happiness to be found with me. If she can find it at all, it's without me.
Yes.
Tell her that. Tell her I ain't gonna bother her anymore. She can be happy now. I'm glad. Tell her that.
Yes, sir.
And Pinkie, tell her.
Yes, sir.
Tell her not to let the baby know anything about me. I won't mind.
Shooting down like dogs.
Stop it. He's worse than a child.
Ah, but they're great fun. How old is he?
Just 5.
You don't say. Mine's going on 3. Wait a minute. Here, can he have a piece?
Yes. Say thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Ah, you're welcome. Wonderful child.
Thank you.
You the editor, sir? I am, sir. What can I do for you, my friend? I want to run this card in your next issue. George Remington, Remington Bluing Company, Philadelphia. Now at Dixie Bell Hotel. How much, sir?
Oh, I guess about $1 will cover it, Mr. Remington.
There you are.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you very much. Goodbye. Goodbye. Lloyd.
Yes,
Accept
sir.
this. By the way, didn't that fella Jesse James come from somewheres around here?
He did? Why?
Then I suppose that you're protesting against this amnesty offer by the governor, aren't you?
What amnesty offer?
Haven't you heard? Well, sir, it's an outrage. In Jefferson City the other day, a friend of mine, a banker, was telling me about it. The governor has promised amnesty, a clean pardon to any member of the James gang that will kill Jesse. And that's in addition to the reward.
Are you sure of that?
Positive, sir.
But that makes the state a party to murder.
Exactly what I said.
That rotten, filthy... Thank you, sir. Thank you for the news.
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
I just have time to get it into this week's edition.
See.
And an editorial.
Please, that don't prove anything. He might have got it all wrong.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. That's all over now.
Roy, you got that editorial on dentists started yet?
Yes, sir.
Well, change it from dentists to governors and finish it like the one I did last week on horse thieves, except this time is governors.
Nice day, isn't it?
I don't want to buy nothing.
I'm not selling anything. You're Mrs. Bob Ford, aren't you?
Well, I'm Mrs. Ford, all right, but if it's about my husband, I don't know anything. I ain't seen him in months. He rid off with them James boys, and I ain't seen hair and a hide of him since.
It's not him I was looking for, Mrs. Ford. It's you. I got this here Liberty paper yesterday, and it's got some news in it that might interest you. And, here's my card. That's all.
What is it?
You know I can't read. What's it say? Well?
The bank at Northfield, Minnesota is the strongest bank in the Northwest. It's wide open for us. We've got $50,000 in gold in the safe. All we gotta do is walk in with a shovel and help ourselves. So that's what we're gonna do.
Well? Well, as a matter of fact, Jesse,
Well?
Well,
Hey, what is this anyhow? For more than a month there's been something funny going on around here. Now, what is it?
Well, to tell you the truth, Jesse, we don't exactly know if we like this idea or not. For one thing, that's a mighty strong bank at Northfield, and it's a long ways away. And for another...
Go on.
Well, I've been talking it over with some of the boys, well, you're taking chances, Jesse, that we don't like. Now, I ain't no coward, and you know it. But some of the things you've got us into, it scared the living daylights out of me.
you're taking too many chances.
Shut up. Go on.
We all know you got your troubles.
Forget that.
And maybe you don't care if you get shot full of buckshot or not. But the way we feel about it, we got a lot of respect for you, Jesse, and you know it. But the way you're going on is just like you was trying to commit suicide.
And just who do you think you are?
Now listen, Jesse.
Go on, reach. Oh, you talked things over, did you? And who are you? The captain of this band? Who's handling these jobs, you or me or somebody else? Well, I'll tell you if you don't know, it's me. I'm doing it, see? And I'll ride up the Capitol steps if I feel like it. So you talked it over, huh? Without me. Well, I don't like it. And it ain't the way I aim to have things. If that's the way you want it, I give you leave now, all of you, to talk it over again. Now, outside. Go on, get out!
Now listen here, Jesse.
Yes, and you too. You talked it over with him. Think I need you? Any of you? You think I can't get 1,000 men to come in tomorrow morning with Jesse James? Well, if you don't, you're crazy. Now get out!
He acts like he's going crazy.
He gets worse every day.
I'll kill him for that if it's my last act.
Wait for me down at the creek. I want to talk to him.
Well?
In the first place, Jesse, I just want you to understand I ain't as scared of you and I ain't as scared of your guns. So if you get to feeling like shooting, you just start drawing, I'll start drawing too.
Is that what you came back to tell me?
No, that's just to clear your conscience if you get to feeling ornery.
I'll remember.
What I come back to tell you was you're a skunk. Want to draw?
Go on.
You're mean, Jesse, and you're getting meaner every day. I don't know if you're going crazy or not, but sometimes it looks like it. Ever since you come back from St. Joe, it's been looking like it. For one thing, there ain't enough money in the world to take the chances you've been making us take the last year or two. And for another, you wouldn't be slapping an old friend like Tom and him a slow draw if you was in your right mind. So you're either crazy or you're a skunk. Go on and draw if you feel like it.
You go on.
You're my brother, Jesse, my kid brother, and I reckon I love you. But it ain't proving anything to let you get my head blowed off, or your own. I know how you feel about what happened after the baby was born. And I know you don't like to get talked to this way. But it's either this or see you get blamed right out of your pants. Somebody had to tell you before it was too late. So what do you figure you want to do about it?
I'm sorry, Frank.
Want me to fetch him back?
Can you?
Sure I can.
Frank.
Hmm?
Much obliged.
You're welcome, kid.
Jesse. Bob.
It's me.
Come in.
Where's everybody?
I'll be back after a while.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Sit down.
Nothing's the matter. I've been to see my wife.
I know.
Hi, Bob. Hi, fellas.
Hi, Bob. I'm sorry. It's all right, Jesse. I understand. Northfield's all right with us.
Good. We'll get going at daylight. Northfield's 450 miles from here. We ought to make it by Friday. We'll hold up just outside of town overnight and jump the bank about noon on Saturday. If it's as rich as they say it is, why, maybe we can all retire then. Sound all right to everyone?
I'm with you,
All right,
Jesse.
Lee.
That's fine. Very fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Layworth?
Right over there, sir.
Thank you. Come in. Mr. Layworth?
Yes?
My card?
Oh, I'm glad to meet you, Mr. Runyan. What can I do for you?
First, read this.
What does it mean?
It's the James gang. They're on their way here.
Here? The James gang?
Mm-hmm.
The James gang? To rob my bank?
That's it.
Great! Thunder and hallelujah! That's ruin! They'll take everything! I've got $50,000!
Shh, easy, easy. There's no danger. Don't you see? I'm here.
Yeah, but
Why, Cousin Bushrod.
Well, if it ain't Cousin Beauregard.
Howdy, cousin. How you?
Well, I'll be doggone. Beauregard ain't seen you in a coon's age.
Come on in the bank with me. I gotta change some money. How's Aunt Mary Lou? How's the twins? Change this for me, Colonel?
I'll have to get the money from the safe. Will you wait, please?
Holy smoke. Come on.
No use. Come on, Jesse!
Gotta keep going, son. Hold on. Now hold tight, Jesse, because there's only one way out of here. Are you holding on? Get out! Jesse? Jesse?
Hurry up, boys, hurry up. He's in here somewhere.
bandits who attempted the raid on the Northfield Bank. 2 are dead and 4 are prisoners. But of the 2 leaders, there is less definite news. Reports yesterday indicated that Frank James had made good his escape. But of Jesse James, there is no news at all. The belief is that he was drowned. But if he escaped, he is thought to be badly wounded and unable to travel far. Oh, that blasted golfing city police. Roy! Yes, sir? I'm gonna write me an editorial.
If he escaped.
You gotta stop it, see? You got to.
I know it.
He ain't the Jesse you knew and loved. That fella's gone a long time ago. I could have liked him too, but not this fella. Not this bad one. This one I could, well, if I ever come on him again.
If he escaped?
Can't you understand, Z? He's no good. It's like I told you that time. Once you let yourself go the way he did, you can't stop. He ain't a knight anymore fighting a bad railroad. He's a wild animal. You can't love him. Nobody can. Why? Everybody that liked him, he's done wrong too. And with his men gone, he hasn't a friend left. Not a friend in the world.
That's right, too, isn't it? Not a friend in the world.
Hey. Hey, you. You. We're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very kindly. Do you think you can make it?
Yeah.
Do you need some help?
No, I'm all right.
You go ahead. You do.
Poor, poor darling. My poor, hurt darling.
Z, is it really you?
Oh, I knew if you could, you'd come here. That's why I came. I knew you'd come.
What's left of me?
I'll get you well. Wait.
Jesse. Hurry, Pinkie, hurry.
Doggone.
Daddy did.
My son.
Oh, Mommy. Well, Daddy's been hurt, dear, but he'll be all right.
I'll be doggone. Doggone.
Don't you think he's big for 5?
Does he know anything about me yet?
No. Not yet.
Is it too late? Could we still go away?
To California? No, it isn't too late. We'll go just as soon as you get well. Pinkie's going to get the doctor now. Oh, Jesse, I do love you so. Jesse, well, you mustn't do that.
Oh, go on. I'm all right.
But Pinkie will take care of all that, darling.
Z. Kind of happy, ain't you?
Aren't you? Oh, Jesse, if we were just leaving today, this very hour.
Nothing's gonna stop us, honey.
Oh, I hope not. But I'm scared, Jesse. I'll be scared every second until we're on our way. Maybe until we get to California.
Well, we won't have any money, remember? That money that I hid in the
No,
hills.
I don't want you to talk about that anymore. We'll make money. Money we won't be ashamed of.
Well, I wasn't ashamed of that.
Now stop it, I say.
Mr. Howard.
Yes?
There's 2 gentlemen to see you, sir.
What do they want?
You knows them, sir.
Oh. All right.
He's human, ain't he?
Well, sir, hello, Bob. How are you?
I'm all right, I reckon. How are you, Jesse?
Well, I'm still toting some lead around inside me, but it doesn't bother me any.
This here's my brother Charlie.
Hello, Charlie. How are you? Oh, Pinkie.
Yes,
Take some coffee.
Yes, sir.
Sit down, Bob. You look like you come a long way.
It's hot. I escaped. They couldn't hold me. Me and 2 fellas you don't know jumped over a wall.
How'd you know where I was?
We seen Frank. He sent us. That's what we come to see you about.
How's Frank? Where is he?
He's fine. He's up in the hills. He's aiming to come down pretty soon. That's what he wanted us to see you about.
Jesse! Are you going to be long?
You remember Bob Ford, honey. That's his brother, Charlie.
Howdy, Mrs. Z.
Are you going to be long?
Go on now. Stop your fretting. I'll be up in just a minute.
What Frank wanted us to tell you. He says if you feel strong enough, he wants you to meet him. It's the Flat Bank.
No. I'm going to California.
Frank's mighty anxious.
Sorry. My mind's made up.
Why, there ain't even a marshal in the town. There's a farm payroll there in the 7th. Frank's got 3 men that know the business. You don't figure it'll be any trouble at all. Just walk in and take it.
No.
If you got plenty of money to get a start in California, you don't even need to think about it.
But if you was to need a bankroll, why?
I haven't got much money. Hardly any money at all. What else did Frank say?
He says it's the easiest job he ever seen. He says it won't take more than a day to look it over. And then if you're set on going to the coast, you got some money.
Sure could use some money.
The way this is, it's just like picking it up off the ground.
When do you want to meet me?
He says right away.
All right, come on in, but stop that hollering.
Frank figures we ought to clear about $2,000 apiece.
Sure could use $2,000. Those kids. Just a minute.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. James.
Howard.
Are you gonna walk around outside with them guns?
You're right.
We didn't hurt him, Mr. Howard. We just killed him. That's part of the game.
If he's such a little fella, you shouldn't play so rough with him.
But that's the way you gotta play outlaw. See, Jesse James, he's gotta die.
I'll die, but they stick me with sticks. Just shoot me, don't stick me.
Bang, 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 bang. You're Jesse James, you're dead.
I'm dead.
Go home, boys. Get him ready. We're catching the afternoon train. Pinkie can follow with whatever we can't carry. That suit you?
Oh, thank goodness, Jesse.
I'm sorry, Bob. Tell Frank I'm sorry, too, but I'll write to him from California.
You mean you ain't gonna come with us?
That's it. Well, what'll Frank say to that? Can't make much difference what he says. I ain't going to him, and that's all there is to it. Bye, Charlie. Nice to meet you. Bye, Bob, and I'm sorry that you had to come all the way up here for nothing. What'll we tell Frank? Just tell him he better come join me while the joining's still good.
Oh, Mr. Howard, we have got to run, for we're going to California.
With the banjo on our knee. Honey, what can I do to help?
Oh, Jesse, that.
Oh, you bet your life. Easy. 'Cause we're going to California on the train this afternoon.
Jesse. Jesse. Oh, Jesse.
There ain't no question about it. Jesse was an outlaw, a bandit, a criminal. Even those that loved him ain't got no answer to that. But we ain't ashamed of him. I don't know why, but I don't think even America is ashamed of Jesse James.
Maybe it's because he was bold and lawless, like we all of us like to be sometimes. Maybe it's because we understand a little that he wasn't altogether to blame for what his times may be. Maybe it's because for 10 years he licked the tar out of 5 states. Or maybe it's because he was so good at what he was doing. I don't know. All I do know is he was one of the doggonedest, gall-dingedest, dad-blamedest buckaroos that ever rode across these United States of America. In loving remembrance, Jesse W. James died April 3rd, 1882. Age 34 years, 6 months, 28 days. Murdered by a traitor and coward whose name is not worthy to appear here.
Whoa, Zach. Pinkie!
Yes, sir.
Come over here.
Yes, sir.
Take me back to the barn. I'm going up the house. Clem ought to be getting in from town.
Yes, sir, Mr. Frank.
Pinkie.
Yes, sir.
Ain't you never going to learn? What's my name?
Why, Woodson. Mr. Ben Woodson, sir.
Why do you call me Mr. Frank? Ain't it just as easy to say Mr. Ben?
Well, seems I've been calling him Mr. Frank ever since you was knee-high to nothing. There ain't no harm in calling him Mr. Frank when ain't nobody around, is there?
Except that one day you're going to forget and bawl out Mr. Frank when folks is around.
Pinkie, Frank James isn't hiding in these hills. He's dead.
Dead? You ain't dead.
You calling me a liar?
Oh, no, sir. No, sirree, but...
Ain't no buts about it, Pinkie. Frank James is dead and buried and underground.
Yeah, sure. He's dead and buried and under the ground and rotted.
Now, remember.
Yes, I remember, Mr. Frank.
Jesse! They killed him.
Jesse dead?
Yeah, shot through the back when he weren't looking.
Ain't no other way they could have got Jesse. You know who done it?
Sure they know. It was them sneaking cowards, Bob and Charlie Ford.
Bob and Charlie, huh? Poor Z and the baby.
Frank, can I go with you?
Go with me?
Well, I know you don't need any help, but...
I reckon I don't. Seeing as I ain't aiming to do anything.
What?
Ain't no more to be said now. Tell Pinkie to rustle up some supper.
Gosh. I was so sure you'd want to light out after them Fords. I bought me a gun.
Hand it over.
I used my own money.
Hand it over. You're getting too big for your britches, son. You got no call to be toting a gun.
Well, I figured if there was any trouble...
Ain't gonna be no trouble. Listen, son. When your father was killed up at Northfield, I brought you down here hoping you'd grow up to be a regular, hard-working man. So far, I got no complaints. We've been getting along fine, you and me. Working, minding our own business. We bothered nobody, nobody's bothered us.
Ain't what them Fords done bothered you none?
The courts will take care of the Fords.
Supposing they don't.
I'm supposing they will. Whatever Jesse done, he was murdered. And the law don't hold with murder.
Frank, if nothing gonna happen to them Fords, ain't some folks gonna think that, well, maybe you're...
Scared?
Well...
What do you think?
Oh, I know you ain't scared. You ain't scared of anything. But, gosh, I wish you and me, we could...
Rivers is ready. Sit down, Mr. Frank. I mean, Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben. Mr. Frank is dead. Mr. Ben. Mr. Frank is dead. So Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben. Mr. Frank is dead. So Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben. Mr. Frank is dead.
Prepare for the vengeance of the Lord. The day of reckoning is mighty close, and you'll catch it hip and thigh if you don't get to repenting. And get to it quick. Hellfire's awaiting you. Are you ready to meet your Maker?
I reckon so.
You willing to stand before the judgment seat with a chaw of tobacco in your mouth? Lost souls, that's what you all are. Black with sin, black with iniquity. The light of the Lord ain't in any of you. You ever think of salvation? You ever think of the kingdom? No. All you ever think of is your bellies and your corn pone and your chitlins and your corn liquor. Brother, how about a swig of that jug? Ain't hard liquor, is it?
No, plain spring water.
Oh. Crop all in?
Yeah. You from town?
Uh-huh.
Any news?
Hogs is up 2 cents.
Good.
You remember about them Ford boys?
The fellers that killed Jesse James?
Yeah. I hear at the telegraph office they're going to be hanged.
You don't tell me.
Uh-huh. Jury found him guilty of murdering Jesse. Don't know why, though, being as a reward out for his killing. Revival meeting at Clinton tomorrow night. Be there, brother. It's me and the devil, and no holds barred. Get up.
Law's all right, huh?
Beatenest thing I ever did see.
It's like I figured. Ain't a jury in western Missouri'd stand for shooting a friend when he ain't looking, no matter what he done. That'll be a lesson to you, son. How about us going over to that revival meeting tomorrow night? I think it's safe enough if I sort of stay in the shadows. Reckon you'd like to see some other folks once in a while.
Oh, I ain't hankering to see no other folks. But let's go fishing tomorrow, you and me, huh?
Sure, son, sure.
Here it is, Mr. Frank.
Ain't they hanging him?
No, they let him off and give him the reward money.
I knowed that preacher man here drunk. It's just like my pappy always said. There ain't no law for the poor folks except the end of a gun.
Hush up.
I was certain sure they wasn't gonna do nothing. Did they ever do anything for our kind of folks? No. McCoy and his railroad stole your farm and killed your mother. And what happened? Nothing. And that time Jesse gave himself up. Did the law treat him right? Pinkie, saddle the horses.
Yes, sir.
Just my horse.
Yes, sir.
You ain't going nowheres.
Oh, please, Frank, I won't get in the way.
Oh, Clem, you and Pinkie got to stay here and look after the farm. I won't be gone long.
Oh, Pinkie can take care of things. There ain't much to do right now.
The fence has got to be finished. The stock's got to be taken care of. Anyways, you're too young.
I'm no baby. I'm grown up.
Ain't no use arguing, Clem. The Fords is my affair personal, and you ain't going with me. Pinkie, I'm leaving Clem in your charge. Don't let him get out of your sight.
No, sir.
See, he studies his figuring and his reading.
Yes, sir, Mr. Frank.
You want me for anything important, Major Cobb will know where I am.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye, Pinkie.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, son.
Things while I'm gone, Joe. Hello, Joe. Hello, Fred. Didn't know you boys could read. Hello, Connie. How's your paw?
Whiskey. What'll it be, boys? Bob Ford's buying. Have a drink, Major.
I don't drink with rats. Watch out, Major. No danger. The Fords only shoot at backs.
You trying to make trouble?
No, but if I had my way...
You had your way. You and your stinking paper did everything you could to hang us, didn't you? Well, we're free now. We got the reward money. There isn't a thing you can do about it.
Come, come, gentlemen. Let bygones be bygones. The James case is a closed issue.
Not by a gosh dang sight it ain't. And it won't be closed till Jesse's blood is paid for. Every dad blasted drop of it. And your hands ain't any too clean either, Runyan.
Mine? What have I done?
As an officer employed by the railroad, naturally,
Oh, don't pay any attention to the old buzzard. Talk, that's all he can do.
Yeah, that's about all I can do. But those James boys are mighty peculiar. Mighty peculiar. Jesse's gone, that's true. Maybe Frank's gone, too. And then again, maybe he ain't. The boys always had a mighty peculiar way of turning up just when you least expected them. Mighty peculiar.
What are your plans?
I'm going out west to see a friend of mine.
When?
Now.
Now, read it back to me, Roy.
If we're ever going to have law and order in this part of the country, we got to take vipers like those Fords and that slimy railroad detective Runyan and shoot them down like dogs.
Right. Now, paragraph. Furthermore, we've got to abolish the pardoning power. Hey, better go back and get your supper, Roy.
Yes, sir.
Come in, Frank, come in. Come in. I figured you'd be along this way soon, but you're a wee bit late.
Late? Ain't they here?
No, they're gone out of town a few hours ago. Yeah, get away from this window. Now, come on, sit down and tell me all about yourself and your folks. Yeah. Have a drink.
Family's all right. They're in Kansas City.
Yeah?
About me, there ain't nothing to tell. I've been hiding out down the Ozarks farming. Heard about Jesse.
Frank, it was the dirtiest, rottenest, sneakingest that ever was. Oh, Jesse may have had killing coming to him. I ain't denying that. But to be shot in the back by a couple of fellas that was like brothers to you, with a weapon you'd give them yourself.
I know, but about this pardon.
All part of the same piece. McCoy put the Fords up to the killing, then got them the pardon and the reward.
McCoy, huh? Got no idea at all where the Fords went to?
None whatever, except they took the cars west. What you aiming to do?
Sure like to meet up with Bob and Charlie. Old friends of mine, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Well, be moving along.
Huh? Good hunting, Frank.
I'll let you know where I am.
Right.
Good night, Major.
Hold on, son, hold on. Very good. Roy!
Yes, sir.
Get out them obituaries of the Fords and set them up in type.
Yes, sir.
Pinkie, what are you doing here?
That boy Clem done run away.
Run away? When?
Just after you left, he hopped on his horse and scat. I tried to stop him, but he nearly knocked me over. That boy's harder to hold than a handful of bumblebees. You all find what you're looking for, sir?
No, Pinkie, they ain't here. They lit out for the West Summers.
Must have got a feeling. You going after him, sir?
Yeah, but not for a while, maybe. I gotta give him some money.
You ain't figuring on no robbing, is you?
No, Pinkie, them days is far behind me.
Praise the Lord, Mr. Frank. Praise the Lord.
Pinkie, I'm a-thinking.
About what, Mr. Frank?
It was McCoy money that put Jesse in his grave back there, wasn't it? Then ain't it fitting I use McCoy money to get the Fords?
What'd you say, Mr. Frey?
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow's the 15th, ain't it?
Yes, it's the 15th.
St. Louis Midland pays off the 1st and the 15th. The money ought to be in the express office tonight.
Oh, Mr. Frey.
Pinkie, go back to the farm right away and stay there.
Yes, sir.
And if Clem shows up, tell him I'm gonna birch the britches right off of him.
Yes, sir, Mr. Frank.
Goodbye, Pinkie.
Goodbye, Mr. Frank. And God bless you, sir.
Good evening. Kind of chilly for spring, ain't it?
Yeah, nip in the air. What's on your mind, friend?
I got this to send out.
Can you send it in the morning, can't you?
No, I want to get it on the 4:15.
All right. Can you write?
Yes, sir, after fashion.
All right. Then fill out this blank.
Reach, brother.
I'm a reaching.
I got a notion when I come in you was kind of sleepy. Suppose you lay down and rest a while.
Huh?
Down! Flat on your face. Now lay there still and don't let me hear a peep out of you.
You can hear nothing from me, brother. I want to be around for breakfast.
Go to sleep. I'll wake you up before I go. Get down.
Yes, sir.
Clam.
What are you doing here?
I've been following you. I was watching outside, and when you didn't come out,
You
I thought...
fool, I almost shot you. Now get out of here and back to the farm before I skin you alive. Get! Bolt the door. Keep your eye on the watchman.
Where's that shotgun? Down here, Sid. Come on. Watch out! There's a shot! Seemed to come from in there! You, get around, break that door down. A couple of you men get out of the rear. All right.
Come on, the back way.
Come on, boys, break her down. Get in there. All right.
Afraid?
No.
Come on.
I'm sorry about what I done, Frank. You might have been killed. Well, I guess there ain't nothing to be done about it now. They'll be wanting me, too.
I tell you, there isn't the slightest doubt about it. I know a James boy job when I see one. I ought to. I've seen enough of them. It was Frank James, and I'm offering another reward of $10,000. I'll wipe him out just like I did his brother.
Mr. McCoy, with your permission, I should like to leave at once for the West.
What for?
To see if I can locate Charles and Bob Ford.
What have they got to do with it?
If I can find the Ford boys, I've got a very good idea that Frank James will not be far behind.
Then go on, by all means.
Thank you.
There were two of them, weren't there?
Yes, Mr. McCoy.
Yeah. One of them was Frank, but who was the other?
Frank's got a lot of friends.
Where's Jesse buried?
Just outside of town.
You can laugh if you want to, but I'm going out and have a look at that grave. I don't trust anything about those James boys.
Well, if it ain't Mr. Woodson. How are you?
Fine, Sonny. Where you and your father been keeping yourself?
Old Paul got him a ranch down in Old Mexico, just below the border.
Like it down there?
Oh, fine cattle country, but you sure gotta be handy with a gun. Shooting scrapes all the time. Guess who I seen killed in a fight just before I left?
Who?
Frank James.
Has he been down there?
Yes, sir, and he's gonna stay down there, 6 feet under the ground. They must have pumped 15 slugs into him.
He had it coming to him, I reckon. Let's go and have a drink.
I need one. I'm spitting sandhills. Wait till I get my saddlebags.
So they finally got Frank.
Beer's that way.
I done all right, huh?
Fine. I once seen Booth, and he couldn't acted it better.
Thanks. You think the news will get around?
Hope so. Once the Fords find out I'm dead, maybe they'll come out of their hole, wherever they are.
Well, the Fords aren't the only ones. The Fords aren't the only ones you gotta play dead for. McCoy's got a reward out.
I know. I got a letter from the major. McCoy's got an idea I had something to do with that express job. Suspicious cuss, ain't he?
Major Wright, you they found out about the farm?
No.
Well, they have. McCoy's got a flock of men watching every road and cow path around there. I think it's all right, though. Pinkie won't talk.
No, Pinkie won't talk, but it's just as well I'm dead.
What'll it be?
Beer.
And what for you?
Make his sarsaparilla.
Right.
Now, what'd you do that for? I've tasted beer.
Mr. Woodson, sir. Lady wants to see you.
A lady?
Yes, sir. She's waiting in the parlor. Give me $50 to fetch you.
All right.
This way, sir.
Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am?
I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm looking for the man who saw Frank James killed in Mexico, and they told me he was talking to you on the porch.
It was me that seen the killing, ma'am.
Oh, then it's you I want to talk to.
Just a minute, miss. Who are you, if you don't mind?
My name's Ernest Stone. I'm I'm a newspaper writer. I was passing the hotel, and somebody told me
Writer?
that...
You mean you write pieces for the paper?
Yes, a reporter for the Denver Star.
A lady reporter?
Mind if I sit down? It'll be easier for me to take notes.
Sure do beat all. A lady newspaper man.
Well, I'm not really and truly a reporter. Not yet. But I'm going to be. My father's the owner of the Star. Maybe you've heard of him. Randolph Stone?
Well, can't say I have, but if he owns the paper, should think he'd be doing well enough so his daughter don't have to work.
Oh, I don't have to work. And if you must know, my father's very much opposed to it. He thinks I should finish college and then sit around with my hands folded, waiting for someone to get around to marrying me. I'll do nothing of the sort. Women are awakening. They want to do things.
Down where I come from, women figure they're doing plenty, feeding a dozen farmhands and raising kids.
We can't all feed farmhands and have babies. Everybody to their taste. I want to be a newspaper woman. Now tell me about Frank James. If I can get a good story, maybe even my father will be convinced I can be a reporter. Won't you help me?
Sure, we'll help. Go ahead, tell her everything, son.
Well, it all happened about 6 weeks ago. We'd been down in Hernandez herding longhorns, and that night we went into town to do a little drinking.
A boy like you?
Ma'am, I ain't no boy. Down in Mexico, I do a man's work and a man's drinking. When we got to Whiskey Joe's, there was a drunken crowd there from another ranch, roughing things up. Frank James, oh, I've seen him a couple times before, he was up at the bar, drinking quiet and minding his own business.
You taking this down that newfangled shorthand?
Oh, no, just making notes as I would in classes. Go ahead.
So this crowd from the other ranch was a-whooping it up, especially the foreman, fella they call Red. Oh, like this, when a girl comes in the place. Oh, a little girl, maybe 10 or 12, looking for her pa. Red makes a grab for her, and she starts crying and screaming. And that plumb annoys Frank. He comes over from the bar, and he pulls the girl away from Red and knocks him a-kicking. Right away, I knows there's going to be trouble and bush of lots. Everybody except Red's gang runs out of the place. It being none of my ruckus, I ducks behind the bar. But Frank don't scare any. He pulls his gun and stands with his back up against the bar. It's 1 against 12 or 15. Red and his crew start blazing away, and Frank's blazing right back. He knocks off 2 guys and then gets hit himself in the left arm. Well, to make it short, he finishes off Red.
Good, good.
Better be taking all this down, miss.
It's all right, I'll remember.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. He finishes off Red and 5 or 6 of his gang. By this time, Frank himself is leaking like a sieve. He's down on the ground, dying, but still fighting, when a slug gets him in the heart. Then the fellas that are left empty their guns into him.
Oh, the cowards.
This belongs to Frank. See, it's marked FJ. I picked it up figuring I could give it to some of his kinfolks if I ever run into him.
Oh, what a wonderful story for the paper.
Oh, yes, wonderful story.
Thank you ever so much. Oh, I must have your name.
Grayson. Tom Grayson.
You say this happened 6 weeks ago? Then he couldn't have been mixed up in that Missouri Express robbery that I've been reading about, where a man was killed.
Oh, no. Frank had been in Mexico over a year.
Frank James never killed nobody. Of course, I ain't counting that Mexico business.
He and his brother must have been wonderfully colorful characters. I wish I could have known them. Well, I must hurry along to the paper. Goodbye, and thank you so much.
Sometimes, might have news. Could I see you?
I'd be glad to see you anytime. You'll always be able to reach me at the Star. Now.
Well, it's very good.
But I still think that a newspaper is no place for a woman.
Now, dear, please don't be so severe.
Edna, don't interfere.
But, Papa, you've got to admit, this is the biggest scoop you've had in 6 months. Been telegraphed all over the country. And I got it for you.
No, my dear, you just stumbled on it. You know, that can happen to anybody.
But I do go on the payroll, don't I?
I don't know. I've got to think that over.
No, thank you.
Take the horses up by the side entrance and don't leave them. We may need them in a hurry.
You going in?
Looks like a show I ought to see.
You gonna shoot him right on the stage?
No, first I'm just gonna scare them to death.
Well, it's time I was a-leaving. Where's that dratted valise of mine?
Here it is, Father. All packed. And I didn't forget your rheumatism medicine, neither.
I hate to go leaving you alone, Nellie, but I got to. Uncle Joe's a-dying.
Don't worry, Pappy. I'll be safe. Nobody suspects the farm money's in this box. And anyhow, I know how to use this.
May God keep you safe, my daughter.
Go away. There's nobody home.
Open the door or we'll break it down.
Go away.
We want the farm money.
Take another step and I'll shoot.
Oh, no, you won't. You know who we are?
No, and I don't care.
I'm Jesse James. This is my brother Frank. Now, do we get the money?
Over my dead body.
If that's the way you want it.
Help! 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 Help!
Why didn't you do what I told you to? I wanted to see you give it to him. Where'd you put the horses? Over there in the corner.
Get up there. Get up. That's one of them, Jesse.
I beg your pardon, but you're Miss Stone?
Yes?
My name is Runyan. I'm from the St. Louis Midland.
Oh, railroad police. Won't you sit down?
Thank you. I'm sorry to disturb you, but it's just a formality. I'm checking up on the death of Frank James. You wrote the story about it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Now I'm writing the story of his life.
Oh, should be very interesting. Very. That youngster who gave you the account of the killing, tell me about him. What did he look like?
Look like? Well, he was a boy not more than 16 or so. Like curly hair, turned up nose. That's about all I can tell you.
I see. In your story, there was something about a friend who was with the boy. What did he look like?
He was a man about 29 or 30, 6 feet tall, maybe more, hard to tell. Walks with a sort of stoop. Has blue eyes and rather high cheekbones. Speaks with a slow drawl, but doesn't say much.
Yes. What did you say his name was?
Woodson. Ben Woodson.
Woodson. He here now?
No, they told me over at the hotel that he'd suddenly been called away on business. But I'm sure he'll be back soon.
At any rate, you hope so.
Yes, I do. He's most likable.
Yes. I guess women could find a certain something about Frank.
Frank?
Your friend Woodson is Frank James.
What did you say?
I said your likable friend is Frank James, outlaw and murderer.
You can't mean it.
Isn't this your friend Woodson?
But I don't understand. Why should...
It's all very simple, my dear. You see, Frank had two very good reasons for wanting to be dead. The express robbery in Missouri and his friends, the Fords.
I don't believe it. He wouldn't do that. He was so nice and helpful. You sure there's no mistake?
Oh, quite. You see, right after reading your story, I went down to the border. Nobody there had ever heard of the gunfight that boy told you about. I'm sorry, my dear. You were the victim of a very cruel hoax. You and your paper. However, all hardened criminals are cruel and vicious. You said he was coming back?
That's what they told me at the hotel, but now that the news is out...
But the news isn't out. Only the two of us know about Woodson. Well, I'll be leaving you now, but you'll hear from me very soon. And don't worry, my dear. You will have the last laugh.
Mose?
Yes, miss?
There's something I want you to do for me.
Yes, sir?
You remember that man you took the message to last week?
You mean Mr. Woodson?
Yes. Now, here's what I want you to do. He's away now, but when he comes back to the hotel, tell him not to go inside, not to talk to anybody, or to see anybody until he gets in touch with me. Understand?
Yes, sir. This Mr. Woodson ain't on no account to do nothing till he done seen you.
All right, Mose, but remember, it's important. Very, very important. And you should...
Look! Look at it, Frank. A hair. A real hair. See it? Yeah. Feel it. Feel it.
A couple more like that, and you'll need a mustache cuff, son.
Hands up, gentlemen. Well, this is a real pleasure, Frank. I haven't seen you since that little affair at Northfield. Oh, come now. Don't act that way. Be sociable. How about a little of that charm you loosed on that lady reporter, huh? Oh, you're quite a storyteller, aren't you, Bub? Yeah. All right. Put on your boots and your coats, and we'll make a little call on the marshal. Come on. Guess you're wondering how I caught up with you, huh? Very, very simple. I knew that Mexican story was a fake the minute I read it. Showed a picture of you to Miss Stone, and there you are. Yes, you lawbreakers are all just about the same. Oh, some of you are smarter than others, but sooner or later you all trip yourselves...
I did good, didn't I?
Yes, son, this time you sure did.
Ooh. Take a deep breath, Missy. Boy, I just left this for you. Tell my mother I may be late for dinner. A friend of mine's ill. Going over to see her.
Yes, sir. Come in. Come in.
Come out or I'll shoot. Try to commit suicide, huh?
Huh?
Yeah, that's how it was. Didn't mean to lie to you, but there was nothing else I could do. I'm awfully sorry.
And you should be. Taking advantage of young girls and hanging up people in closets like raincoats. But you can't stay here. You've got to get away. If you don't, they'll be hanging you like they're hanging your friend.
Friend? What friend?
But didn't you read about it? Paper gives his name as Pinkie. Pinkie something or other.
What?
Here, I cut it out.
They're plumb loco. Pinkie wasn't even in town when it happened. I'd send him back to the farm. They can't hang him.
He's already been found guilty and sentenced.
But he's innocent. He's as innocent as you are. Some of McCoy's work, his way of getting back at me. Pinkie never so much as even stole a chicken in his whole life.
What are you going to do?
I gotta do something.
I want to talk to you.
Go ahead. You can talk in front of her.
Well, it's about Bob Ford. I found out where he is.
Yeah?
Mining camp called Creed. About 4 or 5 days' ride from here. Some fellas at the livery stable were talking about him.
Get out the horses. I'll be right with you.
All right.
So, you're going to let your friend hang after all?
What? Oh, there's nothing I can do about it now. Once I get Bob Ford out...
But you'll be too late. If you'll look at the clipping, you'll see the hanging set for next week.
I know, but what can I do?
Tell me, is it more important for you to kill a man than to save the life of an innocent one?
Nothing's more important to me than getting Bob Ford. I'll send a telegram to the governor. I'll tell him Pinkie's innocent. Promise to give myself up the minute I've taken care of Ford.
But anyone could send a telegram and sign your name. You've got to go yourself. Now. Frank, you can't do anything else. Killing is one thing, but letting an innocent man die.
I know, and I agree with you. But it may be my only chance. I promise you, once I get Bob Ford, I'll give myself up. Goodbye, Eleanor.
Come in. Oh, so it's you. Close that door and sit down. I've got a few things to say to you, young lady.
All right, Papa. Get it over with.
Uh-huh. I suppose you realize you've made me and the Star the laughing stock of the country.
I'm sorry.
No, I suppose you think that takes care of everything.
Other papers have made mistakes.
Yes, but none of them have made the mistake of having a gullible female on their staff and trusting her. None of them have... You saw that interview with Runyan in the Globe this morning, didn't you?
Yes, I saw it.
Uh-huh. It's all true, isn't it?
Not altogether.
Oh, no? Didn't Runyan come to see you? Didn't Frank James hang him up in the closet? Huh. Suppose you'll be telling me next that Frank James is really dead.
I could hardly tell you that. I talked to him last night.
You saw him? That murderer, and you didn't turn him in? Young lady, you're going back to college tomorrow. I've had enough of your nonsense. My daughter mixed up with murderers.
Papa, I've got to go to Liberty, Missouri.
You bet you do. What? What's that?
Did you read a story in your paper about a Negro named Pinkie who's going to be hanged in a few days as an accomplice in the express robbery?
Yes, yes. What about it?
Well, he's innocent and...
What's that got to do with you? Have you gone out of your mind? How do you know he's innocent?
If you'll stop standing on your head and sit down, I'll tell you how I know and why I've got to go to Liberty.
Makes good eating. Wild hen, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it didn't get the fine cooking Pinkie here to give it.
Can't do it, Clem.
Can't do what?
Can't go on.
What's the matter? You sick?
Yeah, sick inside. In a few days, they'll be hanging Pinkie. Hanging him for something he didn't do. Must have been crazy. Going back, Clem.
And let Bob Ford get away?
Let Bob Ford get away.
Well, you can't do it, Frank. You can't. After all our work, are we going to give up on a kind of a darky?
We're going, Clem.
It ain't Pinkie making you do this. It's that girl in Denver. You got her in your mind more than you have Bob Ford.
In a few seconds, you're going to have an awful sore seat, son.
Maybe I am. But what would Jessie think if he knew you were walking out on her?
That's enough, Clem.
I guess she's afraid you're going to get hurt. Oh, don't go, Frank. That poor Ford...
I'm going, Clem, and I'm going alone.
Go with you?
Suit yourself.
What you doing that for?
We're honest men, Clem.
Yeah, but 'tain't a fair swap. Well, I can
Maybe you could, son. Maybe you could. But we got no time for trading talk. Pick out a couple of good head. stranger. How much you figure an outfit like this is worth?
Oh, about $500 or $600.
Here's $600. I'll throw in the horses. Come on, Clem.
Anything wrong? No, except that outfit don't belong to me.
When's the next through train east?
Just missed it. Won't be another till tomorrow.
It's no good. We gotta be in Kansas City tomorrow.
Well, you can make up your mind you ain't gonna be.
Those trains there.
Them's freights. All except number 8. That's fast mail.
Due in a few minutes, ain't it?
Yeah. But it don't even whistle going through here.
You can flag it, can't you?
What, flag number 8? What for? It don't carry passengers. Only mail and fast express.
You're gonna flag it tonight, partner. Come on, get your lantern. Come on, get going, get going.
Yes, sir. I guess you know you can be arrested for this. Federal offense, stopping a mail train.
Yeah, we know. Go on, go on.
I'm going. Take it easy. Engineer's going to be mighty surprised. Mail ain't stopped here in the 10 years it's been running.
Keep swinging, brother, keep swinging.
Yes, sir.
Holy smoke, it's a holdup.
It ain't a holdup. We just want to ride with you. Get going. Don't stop till you get to Kansas City, no matter what. Get in the cab with them, Clem. Hold her open, brother. I'm coming in with you.
Sorry, miss, but there ain't no reason.
But there is a reason. A good reason. Frank James is liable to come in any day now. And when he does, you'll hear the truth from his own lips.
I see. So you want us to hold up the hanging while Frank is out murdering another man?
No, I want you to wait to keep from murdering a man. Pinkie's not guilty. I know it, and I think you know it, too. What harm would there be in postponing?
What for? To give Frank James a chance to raise a gang? And raid the jail like he did once before? That's it. That's what the scheme is, and you're part of it.
You're a fool, McCoy, and a dead liar.
Major.
Liar, and sneaky little coward to boot. You couldn't get at Frank, so you're striking at him through his poor, helpless Negro boy. You and your perjured witnesses in this weak
There's nothing to be done here. Come on,
Why,
baby.
for 2 cents, I'd take you out and shoot you down like a dog, you dead blasted Yankee scum.
I couldn't stay. In an hour, it'll all be over. And I want to be as far away as I can.
I understand, my dear, and I'm sorry.
It's all right, Major. You've been very kind. But I'll never understand your people.
No, you'd have to live among us a long time to do that.
You don't think too badly of Frank, you see. He and I and all of us around here, well, we've been brought up to right our own wrongs, regardless of everything.
And what about the wrong being done, Pinkie? If you ever see Frank James again, tell him I think he's low and contemptible. Only a selfish brute would let an innocent man die. Well, goodbye, Major. And
goodbye, my dear.
Thank you again.
Frank! Did you get him?
No.
Oh, the dirty, rotten coward!
I knew you'd come.
Did you?
Yes. Behind all my doubts, there was always a feeling that...
Put him up, Frank. And keep him up.
So you finally got out of that closet, all right?
Oh, yes. And now let's see you get out of a rope around your neck. Put him on.
Doing an awful lot of bother, ain't you?
Oh, no bother. It's a pleasure. A real pleasure. Where's that young friend of yours?
Hiding out, but I just can't remember where.
I see. All right. Get along.
Frank.
Good morning, Miss Stone.
I'm sorry, miss, but this table is reserved for reporters.
But I am a reporter. I represent the Denver Star.
Denver Star?
Mr. Runyan. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
This case?
It ain't too late, Frank, if you want to get another lawyer. I haven't practiced in nigh under 20 years, not since I took over the Gazette, and I may be a mite rusty.
Rusty or not, you can do as much for me as any other lawyer. I reckon that ain't hardly anything at all.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But we ain't quitting. McCoy and that gosh ding Yankee prosecutor of his will be breathing mighty heavy before I'm through with them.
Order in the court. Order in the court. Everybody stand. Court is now in session. Hear ye.
That ain't the regular judge, is it?
No, that's Ferris. He brought him on from St. Louis.
Just to make sure, huh?
Be seated. Your Honor, the case on the docket is number 4358. State of Missouri versus Frank James.
You may proceed. Not only did he rob the express office, but we will prove, beyond the slightest peradventure of a doubt, that the defendant, Frank James, in keeping with his long, murderous career...
I object! The defendant's not on trial in this court for a long murderous career, any more than the prosecuting attorney is charged with being in the pay of the St. Louis Midland Railway.
I resent the innuendo.
Then stick to the charges in the indictment.
I'm not asking you, sir.
Gentlemen, gentlemen! Now, gentlemen, I propose to have this trial conducted in a quiet and orderly manner. The prosecutor will confine himself to the matter contained in the true bill, and you, sir, will refrain from personalities. The jury will ignore the exchange between counsel. We are not concerned with crimes other than those mentioned in the indictment, and we certainly are not concerned with the railroad associations of the prosecuting attorney.
I object, Your Honor. There have been no associations.
I am not aware that I have said there were. You may proceed.
The state will prove that not only did the defendant rob the express office, but also that he shot down the watchman Wilson in cold blood. The state calls its first witness, Sheriff Daniels.
Sheriff Daniels.
You say Frank James admitted robbing the express office?
Yes, he did, and before witnesses.
I didn't ask you before whom. You just answer my questions. That'll be enough of a strain on that giant intellect of yours. Did Frank James also admit killing the watchman?
No.
He denied it?
Yes. He said Dan was killed by a shot from the outside.
How long you been sheriff?
2 years.
Before that, what'd you do?
I object, Your Honor. What possible bearing can the former occupation of the witness have on this trial?
I see no objection to the question. You may answer.
I was in charge of special police.
Who for?
St. Louis Midland Railway.
Louder and speak to the jury.
St. Louis Midland Railway.
That's all?
Your Honor, I must take exception to this line of questioning. My learned opponent, in his desperation, is trying to make it appear that the railroad company, and not the state of Missouri, is prosecuting this defendant.
The court is under no deception.
Oh, that I'm quite certain. But that there be no doubt in the minds of the jury, I'm about to produce 5 witnesses, none of whom is connected even remotely with the Midland, who were present when Frank James confessed.
Ain't necessary. We admit Frank James robbed the express office.
That's the case.
Yep, thought the major would talk about duress or something.
Or at least make the state prove it.
Certainly.
What are you doing here?
I had to come. Anyhow, there ain't no sense in me hiding out. Nobody's worrying about me. How's it going in there?
Not so well.
Suppose it'd do Frank any good if I was to tell him the robbery was my idea?
No. No, there's nothing you or I or anybody can do. Just got to wait and hope.
Yeah? Well, we wouldn't be doing no hoping or waiting if it wasn't for you. Why don't you leave Frank alone? What'd you have to keep after him for? If you hadn't have stuck your nose in it, we'd have got Bob Ford. Nobody would have got Frank. Now, on account of you, they're gonna hang him.
Raise your right hand, place your left hand on the Bible. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sit down.
You're Frank James.
No doubt about that.
Why are you here?
Why?
Yeah, you weren't captured. You weren't brought in on the fugitive warrant.
I come in.
In other words, you're here voluntarily, eh? As far as the state's concerned, you might still be at large.
I object. That is the conclusion.
Objection sustained. The witness will not be asked to speculate. You may proceed.
You came in voluntarily. Why?
Well, it was aiming to swing Pinkie for something he didn't do, something he didn't even know anything about, so I figured...
So you figured you'd risk your own neck to save the life of a poor, innocent old darky.
Your Honor, I must protest. I must protest, Your Honor. The witness isn't being asked to give testimony. He's being led into argument.
The point is well taken. But when a man is on trial for his life, the court is inclined to give wide latitude to the defense. Now, take it easy, Major. You'll have plenty of opportunity to make arguments. You needn't do it through the witness.
I stand rebuked, Your Honor. You did rob the express office, didn't you?
Reckon I did.
Mm-hmm. What'd you do with the money?
Used it hunting the Fords.
No other purpose?
No. It was McCoy money got Jesse murdered, so I took McCoy...
Your Honor.
Major, I want to be fair with you. In fact, I've been leaning over backwards to be fair. But...
It's all right, Your Honor. I'm finished with the witness. McCoy can have him. I mean McCoy's man. No, doggone it. I mean the prosecuting attorney. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but my tongue got twisted.
You say you didn't kill the watchman, Wilson.
Had no reason.
You always need a reason for killing?
Don't you?
I am not on trial. Your accomplice could have shot Wilson, couldn't he?
Yeah, could have.
Ah.
But he didn't. Shot from the outside, got Wilson.
I suggest that you caused the death of the watchman, either directly
or by using him as a shield in making your escape?
Can't arrest you for suggesting, but 'tain't so.
Tell me, just where was the watchman Wilson when he was hit?
Well, let me see. I think he...
Never mind what you think. Where was he?
Sorry, I can't talk without thinking, not being a lawyer.
Your name is Breckenridge Jackson?
Colonel Breckenridge Jackson, sir.
Well, Colonel Jackson. You say that you've known Frank James for many years.
Are you doubting my word, sir?
I merely asked you a question, sir.
I answered for my friend, the Major. And you, sir, were in a room at the same time. Are you deaf?
My hearing is perfectly good.
Very well. Then I advise you, sir, to pay attention to what's going on in this here courtroom.
Please answer all questions put to you directly and without discussion. As a character witness...
I shall do as you wish, sir. There's no favor I can refuse the man who led the courageous attack at Ball's Bluff.
All right. But let's get on.
Very well, sir. What do you want to know, Yankee?
Now, Colonel.
When did you first meet Frank James?
As a boy, 14 or 15, when he first joined up.
You mean when he joined Quantrell's guerrillas?
Guerrillas? Did I hear you say guerrillas?
I believe they're generally known as such.
Only to those who cravenly fled before them. The finest cavalry in the war, sir. The flower of Southern horse. Why, at the Battle of Three Oaks, they charged their way through...
Let's get on with the trial.
Am I to tolerate insults to the South?
Well, I don't feel insulted. The next question.
I did have a number of questions to ask this witness, Your Honor. But rather than refight the entire rebellion...
Rebellion, did you say, sir? If you are by any chance referring to the late unpleasantness between the states, that, sir, was a war for the Southern Confederacy.
That isn't what they call it where I come from.
Well, that's what this court calls it, and let the record so show. You may proceed.
State rests.
Yankee.
As to the robbery itself, I need say nothing. Frank James admits that with an unknown accomplice, he broke into the express office, cracked open the strongbox, and escaped with the contents. May I assume that even my learned opponent will agree that breaking into a place and robbing it is a punishable offense?
Go on, talk to the jury. They have to listen to you.
But Frank James' crime did not end with robbery. There was murder as well. Foul, bloody murder. Murder that cries aloud for justice against its perpetrator. Frank James killed the watchman Wilson. And you, as honest men, will see that he pays for his crime at the end of the rope.
It's all my fault.
I wouldn't feel that way about it if I was you. After all, you only did what you thought was right.
When I talked to Frank in Denver, I was thinking only of an innocent man condemned to death. I didn't think that perhaps I was sending Frank to his death. What business was it of mine?
Now listen, Frank's not going to his death. 10 years, I figure, or maybe 15.
If I only hadn't persuaded him.
My dear, I'm afraid you're overcalculating your powers of persuasion. You figured it was your persuasion that made him come in, don't you, huh? Well, you're mistaken. He'd have come in, and when he did, even if he'd never met you...
You're saying that to make me feel better.
No, I'm not. I'm saying it because it's the truth. Frank would never have let Pinkie die. You see, I know him better than you do. Well, it's time to be getting back to court. Come along. You see?
Frank had only one thought: to avenge the cowardly murder of his brother Jesse.
But to get on the track of the Fords, he needed money, and he had none. You boys know how rich you get working a rocky Ozark farm. So in desperation, and only as a last resort, did Frank turn to robbery. But let us see. Did he rob a bank containing the thrifty savings of the poor? No. Did he rob an honest shopkeeper? No. He took money from the railroad that had caused the death of his mother and his brother. The railroad that stole your lands and drove you from your farms. The railroad...
I object! Your objection is well taken. Now, let me remind you, Major, again. The St. Louis Midland is not on trial in this court.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Now just try and forget what I said about the railroad. And there is no evidence whatsoever that Wilson, the night watchman, was killed by a bullet from a .44. There is more than a reasonable doubt about it, since even the autopsy surgeon himself couldn't tell. Now this is the weapon Frank James had when he surrendered, and the weapon he has always carried. I know, because I gave it to him myself the day he went to join Quantrell. You see the initials on it, F.J., and the date. Here, see, here.
This is very irregular, Your Honor. The evidence is in.
Let him proceed.
Your Honor. Now, this weapon of Frank's has a very interesting history. Yes, sir, right from the start. His first bullets were fired at those dad-blasted Kansas Jayhawkers when they come a-raiding here. You remember that, don't you, Ira? Next, this weapon was used on the sneaking, thieving Yankees that burned Hickoryville. Saved your barn and your horses, eh, Luke?
What are we trying here, Frank James or his gun?
This is also the weapon that stampeded the blasted bluebellies at Three Oaks and cleared Clay County forever of the pesky invaders.
Now tell them how many innocent men that gun laid low.
There is no innocent blood on this weapon. I'm proud of every bullet fired from it. This weapon... I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't know it was loaded.
Perhaps your client didn't either when he fired at the watchman.
And if the jury believe that any witness has willfully sworn falsely to any material fact, the jury is at liberty to discard and disregard the testimony of such witness. And in determining the credibility of any witness, the jury may take into consideration his or her moral character, as disclosed by the evidence developed at the trial. And if, on account of his or her moral turpitude or other criminal acts, if any, the jury regard him or her as untrustworthy of belief, they are at liberty to disregard and reject the whole of such testimony, although a part of his other testimony may be corroborated by other evidence in the case. Fifth,
what's he doing?
The jury is instructed that by the statutes of the
What's
state,
he
the
doing?
defendant...
Guess he wants to be in at the kill.
That is the law, gentlemen. And here are the facts. The defendant admits, yes, freely admits, that he robbed the express office. Not now, son, not now. Thus, your duty as to that count in the indictment is plain. As to the defendant's reasons for robbing the express office, you will attach no weight to them whatever. As to whether murder was committed in the course of the robbery, that you will determine by the evidence. But bear this in mind. No matter what has been said in this courtroom, you and you only are the final judges of the guilt or innocence of the defendant. The jury will now retire to its deliberations.
Maybe not murder, but there's no question of a conviction on the robbery charge. I wish, though, that Bob Ford hadn't come here.
Your Honor.
Yes?
Do we have to leave the box?
Not if you've reached a verdict.
We have, Your Honor.
And what is the verdict?
We find the defendant, Frank James, not guilty of anything.
That bastard Yankees, we licked them.
Keep cool, son. Keep cool.
Please. Please. You're free, Frank. Free. You can do as you please. Go where you want. If you kill him, you'll have to stand trial again. You mustn't, Frank. You mustn't.
I got to.
Frank, if you ever want to see me again.
Hot Fort! They got it! They got it!
I tried to get him for you, Frank. But appears like he got me. I think I plugged him too. But I ain't sure. If I was, I wouldn't feel so bad.
Anybody getting a doctor?
He's coming.
Frank,
Yeah?
I guess you and Pinkie can take care of the farm.
No, we can't, Clem. We gotta have you. We need you for the harvesting. Ain't a man in the county can do a day's work like you. We gotta have you.
All right, Frank. But I'm awful tired. Maybe if I rest up a bit.
Buck up, son. You can't go to sleep now. You got a job to do. Clem. Anybody see which way Ford went?
Yeah, he ducked in that livery barn over there.
You coming out or am I coming in? That's the other one, Jesse.
In granting a full pardon to Frank James, he has shown himself to be a man who acts in full accord with the wishes of the people. Anybody who don't vote for him at the next election ought to be taken out
and shot down like a dog.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, and put it on the front page in 12-point boldface.
I don't suppose you'll ever get out to Denver again.
Oh, can't tell. Mighty pretty country around there. Yeah, it kind of does something to you to see the sun come up mornings over the mountains. Yep, there's lots I like about Denver.
I'm glad. Bye.
Bye.